Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the exact psychological shift that happens when you take your financial life from an endless cycle of just consuming stuff to a life of true, lasting ownership. This isn't just about hitting a magic number in your bank account. No, it's about fundamentally changing how you look at every single dollar that passes through your hands. Okay, let's jump right into a scenario here. Imagine waking up tomorrow, opening your banking app, and discovering you suddenly have exactly $100,000 sitting right there. Seriously, take a second and picture it. What's literally the first thing that pops into your head? What would change about your life today? Well, if you're like most people, you instantly start thinking about what you could buy to upgrade your lifestyle. A much better car to replace your old one, that dream vacation you've been putting off forever. Maybe upgrading to a nicer apartment with a better view. We just naturally see a sudden influx of money as a reward for hard work, right? It's our ticket to immediate gratification. To get past that instinct, we're going to follow a quick roadmap. We'll start with the $100,000 question, look at the endless consumption trap, and then break down 3 steps: hiring your money, pushing the boulder, and prioritizing asset ownership. And that all wraps up into our final point, choosing freedom over fake status.
Section 1. The $100,000 question. What money can do.
So let's look at the real difference between folks who stay financially stuck and those who actually grow their wealth. People who reach that 100K mark and keep going usually completely stop thinking about what money can buy. That burning desire for a shiny new car just kind of fades away. Instead, they shift completely to thinking about what that money can actually do for them. It transforms from a tool for consuming into a tool for creating. And honestly, that's the mindset shift nobody talks about. All right, Section 2, the endless consumption trap and why money just disappears. To understand why that mindset shift is so incredibly rare, we've got to look at the trap most of us are caught in every single day. Think about your daily environment for a second. We are completely bombarded by advertisements and algorithms that literally know what we want before we do. We scroll through endless social media feeds showing off luxury and these picture-perfect lives. From day one, we're taught that money really only exists for one reason: immediate gratification. So because of that constant conditioning, whenever extra money does show up, it usually disappears just as fast. We spend it because we subconsciously think that's exactly what we're supposed to do. Moving to Section 3, Step 1, hire your money and shift to freedom. The crucial point here is how we actually take that very first step out of the consumption trap. It requires completely changing your core definition of what cash actually is. You've got to stop seeing money just as spending power and start seeing it as freedom. The absolute best way to do this? Treat every single dollar like a tiny employee. Picture it like this. If you spend $1 on a fancy coffee or a new gadget, that tiny employee quits immediately. Poof, they're gone forever. But if you hold on to those dollars and put them to work in investments, those tiny employees start working around the clock to generate even more dollars for you. This gives us a super simple 3-step playbook to shift from consumption to ownership. Step 1, you keep the dollars. Step 2, you put them to work. And Step 3, they automatically generate new dollars. This right here is the foundational procedure to actually buy back your freedom. Which brings us to Section 4. Step 2, pushing the boulder, or the struggle before you hit 100K. Now look, we have to be totally honest about how difficult this feels at the very beginning. As the source material points out, at first, this feels painfully slow. You save a few $100, you invest a little chunk from your paycheck, you log in to check your accounts, and absolutely nothing exciting happens right away. It feels like this massive sacrifice for a tiny, almost invisible reward. Think of it this way. Building wealth before you hit that $100,000 mark is exactly like pushing a giant, incredibly heavy boulder up a steep hill. Every single push is exhausting, and the thing barely moves an inch. But once it finally crests the top of that hill, the entire dynamic shifts. The boulder starts rolling down the other side, and momentum just takes over. Suddenly, your money starts creating more money completely on its own, way faster than you ever could just by saving your pennies. Section 5. Step 3. Prioritize asset ownership. This is where growth really comes from. Once that boulder is rolling, the real mindset shift accelerates, and you start to see a massive divide in how people think about finances. Most folks obsess almost entirely over increasing their active income, getting a raise, working crazy hours, jumping to a better paying job. But wealthy individuals, they focus entirely on increasing their ownership. The growth stops coming strictly from their daily grind and starts coming from what they own. By keeping your tiny employees and putting them to work, you transition into holding real ownership. We're talking ownership of investments, ownership of businesses, and ownership of hard assets that passively grow over time. You literally stop treating your time for money, and you start treating your money for assets that buy back your time.
Just think about the number 24. The wealthy understand a profound truth about this number. You, as a human being, can only physically work a few hours a day before you're just totally burned out. You need sleep, you need days off, right? But your assets, they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without ever complaining or asking for a coffee break.
Moving into Section 6, Freedom over Fake Status, the Ultimate Realization. This brings us to the psychological transformation that catches so many people completely off guard. The exact moment you experience the real power of momentum, your desires actually change. You just stop trying to impress strangers with expensive gadgets, designer clothes, or flashy cars. Looking wealthy becomes way less important than actually being wealthy. Long-term freedom totally replaces those short-term status desires, and you become far more excited about watching your investments compound than making a quick, flashy purchase. The whole overarching goal transforms from basic consumption into total, uncompromised freedom. It's the freedom to choose your own projects, the freedom to take big risks without the constant fear of ruin, and honestly, the ultimate luxury, the freedom to spend your time exactly how you want to spend it. The biggest difference between people who build wealth and people who don't usually isn't their income. It's this exact shift in perspective. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought you can apply to your life right now. Stop asking what you can buy with the cash in your pocket. Instead, look at every single dollar and ask, how can this help create more freedom in the future? Let that single perspective-shifting question change your financial life forever.